Well, Daniel Andrews might be a hopeless premier, but he's a rat-cunning politician. He might lead the most ethically challenged government in the country, but that's never stopped him from using alleged ethical failings against his opponents. Today he was too pure to comment on a so-called sleaze file about Liberal politicians following scantily clad influencers on social media. Here he was, not unhappy to have the matter raised in the press conference, but pointedly referring it back to the Liberals.
It's a matter for the Liberal Party. I don't know how trying to involve the Labor Party in this. It's a matter for the Liberal Party.
Just curious, did someone from Labor HQ leak that information?
It's a matter for the Liberal Party, and you should probably have a chat to them about culture in their party.
It's interesting, this blows up about women, and he just happens to be announcing on the same day policy in relation to women. Now, should a Liberal frontbencher have been following tacky sites on Twitter? Probably not. But as he's following 1,200 odd other accounts, it's a safe bet that he hasn't spent much time there. Indeed, most MPs don't operate their own social media accounts, I can tell you that. It's normally a job for their staff. I did laugh at Labor's mock outrage over one site in particular about the historical origins of prostitution. Now, it's a bit rich coming from the Andrews government that's not just long ago legalised street prostitution. They've legalised street prostitution, but you can't follow a Twitter site about prostitution if you're a Liberal. It's interesting, isn't it, how quickly these Libs get condemned for who they follow on social media. Yet Daniel Andrews can spend $1 million from taxpayers promoting himself on all these same platforms, and it barely rates a mention. His government's hotel quarantine can be linked to the deaths of 801 Victorians, and still even today, no one knows who made the fateful decision to reject the army and instead use dodgy private security guards.
Not that I specifically recall, no. I can't specifically recall. I have given this quite some thought, Ms Elliard. I'm not certain. I can't specifically recall. I'm afraid I've tried to search my recall of this
And that's before we even discuss all the millions the Andrews government has spent right up to the High Court to try and keep secret anti-corruption reports, the Lawyer X, red shirts issues, all of that secret and quiet. This sleaze file put out today was reportedly compiled by a women's rights campaigner. Of course, nothing to do with Labor, would it? Well, my documentary coming on Wednesday night, tomorrow night, has Labor women explaining just how the Premier treats his female colleagues. Women like this, a former Andrews government minister who served him and who reached out to me saying that he must not get away with what he's done.
He says he's a champion for women. He'll stand there in the firing line and do all that, but then he treats women appallingly behind closed doors. And if you're down, he'll kick you to keep you down. Well, after that airs, I wonder what these women's rights campaigners will say about that.